Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jacquie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I'm excited to introduce you to Keelin Conant, Senior Solution Advisor and Sales Manager for Alvaka. Hi, Keelin. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited for everyone to get to know you a little better. So let's start off with the icebreaker questions. Where do you live and where did you grow up if that's different?
So I grew up in Vermont
Mhm.
and I retired from winter when I was 28 and I moved to California. As a little girl, that's all I talked about was living in California. I ask everyone, who knew me as a child, and they're like, all you really wanted to do was live in California. So I moved to Los Angeles in 2008 and now I live in Orange County, which is right between LA and San Diego.
Awesome. And I especially love how you said you retired. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What I knew this was going to be a fun one. All right. What is a little known fact about you that you don't mind sharing?
One thing that, and it's sort of a taboo subject, but also retired from drinking and smoking in 18, which really liberated me from a lot of things. It was a lot of self-limiting thoughts. And when I just stopped, it opened up a lot for me, and including my creativity, belief in myself. And I do like to talk about it. And I don't talk about like I'm in recovery or sobriety, things like that. I retired from it because I want to honor the time that I had, drinking and smoking and all of my fun adventures that I had. But I also, it's like a graduation point. So when I'm
Mhm.
out and about, people are like, you don't drink. And I'm like, no, and it's not a big deal. Like obviously in our culture, we're around that all the time. And it's just something that I'm really proud of, I would say maybe overcoming, in the different years that I've been in business.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you shared of anything you could have shared. I love that you shared that. I'm sure that will definitely resonate with many. So let's move to let's just dive in. Here we go.
Do
I
it.
gave the light stuff. Let's go into the maybe, just a little bit more. I'm not gonna say heavy. Have you, well, this one's kind of heavy. Have you ever questioned your abilities or qualifications? And if so, how did you overcome that?
For sure. So it took me 20 years to get my degree. I decided it was better use of my time to go into the workforce pretty early and get that
Mm-hmm.
paycheck and then work on my degree while I was working. So while I was working a 9 to 5, I was also going to night school and earning a degree in art. But the whole time I was working in technology. And I think I made up a story that, I wasn't a technology person. I didn't really belong in STEM. I really, was supposed to be an artist and I was going to school for it. But like after 20 years, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm actually, a technology expert. And just that story around the degree, I think allowed me to hold myself back. And when I finally finished my undergraduate, it just changed something inside of me and it allowed me to be more confident, but I had that confidence the whole time. So it was just a story that
Yeah.
I made up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally can relate to that. It's funny, like, what gives us kind of the security and confidence. And then I love that you just said, like, you realized you had it the whole time. So it just came full circle for you. That's
It really
amazing.
did. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it took me stepping away from technology and opening up my own coaching business and playing in the art space for a bit to
Hmm.
realize how much of an expert in technology I was then and now. And obviously there's like technology is such a huge ecosystem. There's so many
Yeah.
different pieces of it. And by no means am I an engineer, but when I left the industry, I realized I have a higher level of technical acumen than a lot of people out there. So I realized I was helping a lot of being able to talk about technology in a way that supported non-tech people. So that
Yeah.
was really empowering too, just to see that. But I had to walk away from it in order to reflect.
Yep. Oh, I love that. All right. What is something that you learned that maybe you wish early in your career?
I wish I'd finished the darn degree, honestly. But also, I made up a story as a little girl that I was horrible at math. And
Mm.
Working in STEM, because that's really what we're in at this point.
Yeah.
I'm realizing like I didn't need the math, and I loved science and I loved astronomy, which is very math heavy. And I, again, it's about making up stories.
Yeah.
I wish I had just not worried so much about the perfectionism around math and just, kind of followed just tracking the things that interest me without, being like, well, that's not for me. I can't do that.
Yeah, that is so relatable. So relatable.
And fun fact, I will say, do you know Duolingo? How
Yes.
you can learn? Okay. So it's a language tool. It's kind of, they've gamified it. They've done such a good job. Well, there's a music version and a math version. So sometimes I spend my evenings, working on my math. It's still like, even though I don't have to be, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and, work on this. So I don't think that we ever stop learning.
Oh yeah, no, we should never stop learning. Otherwise we just get bored and stale, and like, that's never good either.
Right.
Thanks for the share. I didn't know Duolingo did other things other than language. So pretty cool. All right. What has driven you to continue to grow in your leadership roles?
I think I had really good mentors. I'm a bit dyslexic. I'm left-handed. I had a lisp as a little girl, and I think the dyslexia actually comes from being left-handed. I flip words a lot. Things like that. So when I was younger in school, they put me in a lot of one-on-one learning situations. So therefore, because of that, I had mentors really early on giving me attention. And then as I got older, I had awesome mentors in business. I've hired coaches over the years to help me, like life coaches, financial coaches, things like that. So I've just really been able to lean on that mentorship. And I think that, learning from other people, not only their mistakes, but their wins has really supported.
Love that. I love that. Okay. I think we have time for one more. Okay. So I love this question because I love hearing everybody's tips because they're always different. And this is a good one. What are your best practices that you use to manage your time?
I am best friends with my calendar. Like if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. So, I encourage people just to send me a couple times, or if I'm working with a client, I will send them a couple times. I put it all on my calendar. I use things like Calendly to, automatically, book things. And I also, because I'm in sales and I'm, out in the community a lot, I book my drive time or my, transit time, which I think is really important. I'm finishing up my MBA right now, and I even put like my assignments on that. So, and it really helped me, like look at my month ahead and my week ahead, not just my day. Yeah. The other thing that I've been playing with is the bullet journal. Because not only am I a touch dyslexic and, all the other things, I'm highly ADHD, right? And I think a lot of us are now, but, I was like the ADD, like, I tried to play soccer when I was a kid and I was like spacing out trying to chase butterflies, right? So I need things that ground me. And the bullet journal I've been playing with lately, and that really helps me get grounded in, okay, what does April look like? What does May look like? What does Q3 look like? I want to cruise on a raffle, like one of those like European Viking river cruises, that you see like in the magazines. I won one in a raffle. So we're going to go in September. And I'm realizing like there's a lot we have to plan around that. So, using the bullet journal, using the calendar, just doing certain things during the week, like Sundays are my boring cleaning day and like food prep day, like really just subscribing to the things that are tried and true and surrendering myself to getting those done really sets me up for success.
Wow. I feel like you're like my, I don't know, across the world, like across the United States twin here, like so many things. I'm like, yep. Keelin, it was so nice getting to know you, and thank you so much for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week this week.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for putting all this together.
Yes, absolutely. All right, community members, please comment below. Give Keelin her like high fives, cheer her on, but also like share your tips and insights too, because the conversations were never meant to stop here. So until next time, have an amazing week.
Bye.